Rescuers continue to bring people to safety from the flood disaster triggered by that critical hydro dam collapse.
You see exhaustion, you see weak people who were evacuated and went through a very hard physical few hours, and they're exhausted.
Rescues continue, making sure tens of thousands of people in the disaster zone have safe drinking water is a growing challenge, though. And the World Health Organization is warning of the threat of cholera. Complicating the effort to get people to safety, Ukrainian officials accuse Russian forces of shelling rescuers. And this is video shared by Ukraine's public broadcaster showing an explosion as a boat tries to bring people out of the floodwaters. Let's take you live to Kyiv for the very latest on this. Tim Mack is a Canadian journalist who is covering the war in Kyiv this morning. The flood disaster, Tim, we've just seen extraordinary pictures this week. What is the latest information you're getting inside the country today?
It's hard to underscore just how much of a disaster it is. Sometimes when you look at videos and photos of disasters, you wonder if that might not be localized to one place. The thing about the Dnieper River on which this dam was built is that 70% of all Ukrainians depend on it for fresh water. It's enormously important to not only the agricultural sector of the country, the economic, logistics, but the history and the culture of this entire country. It splits the country from west to east. And now what we've seen is the flooding of some 80 settlements in the flood path and tens of thousands of people trying to get out of the way and evacuate their homes, try to pick up the pieces of what's left. You see these horrible images of people obviously in distress, animals in distress, as they're trying to evacuate this very dangerous situation.
Tim, we've heard from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, and he has confirmed Ukrainian forces are involved in intense new fighting. A lot of it seems to be located in the south and the east, and a lot near Zaporizhia. There's a lot of reporting now this is part of the long-expected counter-offensive. What do we know about that?
Yeah, well, you know, one of the places that I look to for this kind of call is the Institute for the Study of War, which has been tracking on a very daily basis all the minutiae of what's happening along the battlefield. And what they've just said overnight is that they believe that enough movement has been going on all across this long front line that they could call the counteroffensive that Ukrainians have been anticipating for so long has now begun. And what the Institute for the Study of War also warns, though, is that the initial stages are going to involve a lot of casualties on the Ukrainian side. That what they're doing right now is they're kind of probing and they're testing very well dug in Russian positions. And so you'd expect that there would be some pushback and there would be some setbacks as well. And what we're seeing from what is really interesting video that's being posted all over social media in Ukraine is that there are some setbacks. That there are videos, for example, of Ukrainian armored vehicles burning, and this is just the early days of this. And we'll see whether the Ukrainian military can break through and surprise the Russians in some way in coming days.